want to make sure you're always doubling your money, whether you're trading on Solana or whether you're trading on the Tron network. I want to make sure you guys are constantly printing and maybe not 5xing, 10xing, which is what we all want, but at least doubling your money. So I'm going to give you guys the tools. I'm going to give you guys the strategies you're going to need to put in place in order to do so, whether you're trading on Tron or you're trading on Solana. Now, if you guys are not using the best tools for trading on both of these platforms, you guys are missing out on being able to spot out the good coins, filter out the bad coins, but most importantly, guys, trade faster and save money. Links are down below for the Tron version of Bullocks and also for the Solana version of Bullocks, so you could start printing and doubling your money every single day. On top of that, I have a call channel where I call calls that will give you guys at least a 2x almost every day. Yes, you heard it correctly. So if you're not following me there, now's the time. TG link is linked down below in the description and also my X account. So make sure you guys follow there. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about what we're going to need to do to get that. First thing is, guys, you guys need a Bullocks account. Like I already said, links are down below. With that out of the way, let's talk about where we're going to be spending most of our time when it comes to 2xing every single day, right? So the first thing, guys, if you're in the Solana chain, you're going to click right here where it says Pump Fund, and that's going to take you to Pump Vision. And you have 3 columns, and very similar to the Tron version, you're going to click right here where it says Tron Vision, and that's going to be right here, and then you have 3 columns. Now, it's extremely important that you pay attention to what I'm going to say right now. Each column has a different risk factor. This one right here, highest risk, higher rewards, okay? But very risky. The middle column is 50-50 chance. It could go, it could rug, all right? And then you have the third column, which is going to be a more likelihood that it goes up, but yet it could still go down, but you just want to make sure you're getting in the right place. And I'm going to give you guys the filters. I'm going to give you guys the tools and the way to analyze this really fast in less than a minute for every column to know which one to get into, all right? First and foremost, let's start off with the new creations. So with the new creations, guys, it's extremely important that you're able to identify a new creation fast and are able to buy it quickly so you could get your multiples. On this one, you have to decide one important factor. Are you going to sell before it goes here, or are you going to hold it till it gets here? That's an extremely important question that you need to answer yourself, because I could only tell you when to buy. I cannot tell you when to sell. That just depends on how much multiples you want to get and you want to risk it. Of course, all my calls and everything like that, not financial advice, but guys, we're making money helping people print every single day. So it's extremely important. Okay, so once you answer yourself that question, do I want to buy here and sell before it gets here or here? Then that is going to be something you're going to have to answer, right? With that being said, let's take a look at this column. So the first thing we want to look at is this number right here. This number is going to tell you guys when the coin was actually created. This was created 37 minutes ago. So the longer the coin has been on this side of the column, the more likelihood the coin is dead. Okay, the longer it's been here, the more likelihood it gets. The only way this coins are, like, if it's been here for more than days, it's going to be able to get resurrected is if it gets CTO'd. And if it gets CTO'd, it's going to end up right here. So that is when you'll get access to it, because usually the CTO team will buy the bottom and it will end up on this side. I'm going to go over the filters and show you guys exactly how we filter them and why, so you guys can understand that. The next thing you guys understand is the top holders. So the higher this number is, the more likelihood you're going to get rugged. If this is 70, 60, 50, that is a big red warning, and you want to avoid that. You don't want to buy that. So you want to make sure that this top holder count is at least, I'm going to say 40, because I've seen some that have hit 40 and they still run 40 below. 40 below should be your number that you're like, okay, you know what? That's going to do pretty good. A perfect example is, for example, we look at this this one right here, this Sun Monk, 48% of holders, all right? 48% of holders, and it ran up to 237. 30% of holders, 134. So imagine if you would have bought this at like 7K, 10K, and it ran up right here. That's a 10x, good multiples right there. 20x. So you're still going to be able to make money even with a large holder count. You just want to make sure you kind of, pay attention to that. The other thing that you want to look at is this right here. So the dev holder. So this right here is extremely important that you would know, because the higher this is, the less, once again, the less likely you're going to get rugged. This one, guys, I'm going to say anything below 6% should be ideal. you do not want to make sure the dev doesn't hold more than 60%. I personally say 5%. Some people say 6. I think anything with 5 or below should be good, but you still want to kind of analyze the coin. So you want to make sure you look at it really quick. You check how long it's been created. You want to check how many holders it has. You want to check if the dev has more than 5%. If all of that checks, you're like, okay, pretty good coin, right? It's still good. I'm not going to get into it yet, but it's still a very interesting coin to take a look at. The next thing you want to look is you want to make sure you see that they've taken some time to at least make a Twitter account. Now, the reason we want a Twitter account is because that is one of the hardest things to make because you need to have a phone number. It's still bypassable because people still cheat the system, but at least it shows you that they took the time to actually make one. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a make or break, but you always want to check it. But usually I never check the ones that are on this side. I only check it once they go here, okay? Because you want it on these, you want to make sure you get in the faster, the better. With that being said, you also want to look at the holder count. Now, the holder count is going to be very important because it's going to correlate with the time that the coin has been created. Basically, this is going to be something that you need to read really quick. If the coin has a very early, let's say this said 10 seconds, and it had 70 holders, big red flag for you guys because something weird is happening, right? Either 70 people got information that that coin was going to be launched and they all bought at the same time, or there's a little bit of manipulation happening with that coin. So you want to make sure that the number right here, the number makes sense with this one. The only time you're going to see this really, really weird is if it's a celebrity coin, if it's a coin that someone that's very well-known launches or like a big KOL is pushing. Of course, you'll see like the coin got created in 10, 15 seconds and it already has like 100 to 70 holders. But eventually by the time that happens, the coin will end up here. So you're not going to be able to buy it here. You probably will be buying on this side, okay? So when it comes to the new creations, you want to make sure that the holder count matches the time the coin has been created. And ideally, you don't want it to be like super, super high with a very low time of creation. But like this one, 41 minutes, 71 holders, that looks pretty decent. Pretty decent coin. Of course, I want this holder count to be a little bit higher, but it still looks like a very interesting coin. So what are the filters for this side? For filters for this side, we have dev holding more than 6%. We have a holders of 12%. So we want to make sure that there's a decent amount of holders. And our market cap is set to 7,500. The reason we set the market cap that high is because we want to filter all the dead coins. And usually the dead coins are either between 10 and below. But sometimes you'll have a pretty interesting coin like around that 75K. So 75K, I feel like is a very good entry if you're trying to get into a coin. Now, with that being said, let's go to the about graduated. So about graduated works a little bit different. We want to make sure that the coin hasn't been here sitting in Sun Pump or Pump Fund for a very long time. Anything that's, I would say like a day to 2 days old, I don't like to get into. I kind of want to get into coins that have been, either in Pump or Sun Pump within like a 6 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame, due to the fact that you want to have a good amount of volume for when that coin gets out of the about graduated into the graduated, because that means that coin's going to do well. Usually coins with low volume here that end up here either don't end up here or they end up here and they end up dying because they don't have enough, push to push the coin really fast. So you want to make sure that that coin is going in with a decent amount of volume when it comes into this section, right? As you see right here, usually all the volume right here, it's over 100K. You have some low volume ones, but you'll see that those are pretty much dead. So when you want to get into the coins here, you're going to want to make sure you set the certain filters. First and foremost, we want to make sure that the age of the token is not more than 6 hours, 4 hours. So I have mine set to 320. That is the amount of time I want to give a token that, maybe there's a team forming, maybe there's a good amount of people. I want to make sure that the coin has a really good amount of holders, because if it has very low holder count, so the holder count says like 3 or like 5 or 10, and it's been here for a very long time, but it has a high market cap, that's a big red warning to me, because that means it's not a community, it's actually someone else pushing it. This is a perfect example. You see this one has 201 holders, has pretty good volume, sitting at an 18K market cap, okay? There is no dev. The dev sold. Top holders have 27%. This one looks like Artie could probably end up here, like maybe within 18 to 24 hours. If this stays steady, very interesting coin to take a look at. We'll take a look at the chart in a little bit. But eventually, with this amount of holders, it looks like it might end up here, okay? This one serves, looks like a very Sun Friends, looks like a very good token as well. And we're gonna take a look at this one. As you guys see, the holder count's almost at 40, kind of where we want to have it, but we want to make sure we're a little bit wary about it. Now, one beautiful thing about this one is you're gonna be able to set this to the 1 second chart, so you're gonna be able to see stuff that's happening. And as you see here, this coin has gone very nice, 25K, brought down to 14, 25K, back to 15, 30K. So every time we've had a new high, and it's dipped a little bit. So right now it's holding pretty interesting, but we want to make sure this holder count is going up, because the longer this coin stays in here, the more holder count should go up, like this one, 202, but it's not going up that much. As you see, 119. So right now, to me right now, the clear winner, I would say the one that has more potential, are these two right here, which is Sun Friends and Artie. These two look interesting. Artie looks like it has a more of a community behind it, but I want to make sure that I keep track of these at the same time. And we'll talk about when to buy, when not to buy, in just a little bit. The next thing is the graduated section. So the graduated section, I'm looking for two things. Number one, has a coin run and has it done really well? And has it dipped and is it going to go back up? Or has the coin just literally just exit here, and will it have a run up, and when am I going to be able to buy? So right now we don't have anything that's migrating, so it's going to be very hard to do that. But what we could do is we could look at a coin that has held a very nice market cap and has some pretty good buying potential. So we're going to look at the Suna one. There's a coin that looks very interesting that I feel could still have a very nice, decent run here. And what we're going to do here is we are going to trash that. We're going to reset this here. And we're going to put this chart to a 3-minute chart. Okay, so let's look at this token. This token got created on August the 29th. All right, it's relatively like about 3 days old. And we've seen that it's done pretty good. Okay, so it's done pretty well. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're buying at this stage. Okay, so we could have these type of numbers. All right, this is a 15K, let's say 20K to a 500K market cap. That's some really good multiples right there. All right, so those are really good. And then you saw you got another buy opportunity here at this 150. It ran up to 300. That's a 2x right there. All right, and then you had another dip here at 90, almost 100, and it ran up to 400. That's very nice multiple. So theoretically, if you would have been trading this coin, you would have had a very good amount of X's here, a good amount of X's here, and a good amount of X's. So basically, you would have been able to buy and sell this token 3 times and had some pretty good profits. Okay, the thing is, you need to know when to buy, because what you want to avoid, you do not want to buy up here, because look what happened when you bought up here. It goes down, and when it goes down, you're stuck at 171 range, and when you're stuck at the 700 range, that means this coin needs to hit 300 for you just to 2x, and you want to avoid that. You want to make sure that you are buying as low as you possibly can, and you are selling as high as you can. And how do you know that? Right? That is the question. How do I know that? I'm going to teach you right now one of the most important things you're going to learn when it comes to trading, and that is the 4-6-8 effect. All right? The 4-6-8 effect, it's going to be extremely important. I need you guys to write this down. Take out a notepad and write this down. Just keep this in mind. 4-6-8 effect. All right? The 4-6-8 effect is extremely important. And it's going to be one of the most important things you learn in this video. What exactly is the 4-6-8 effect? Well, that's going to be on the percentile. And by knowing this percentile, you're going to be able to identify if this coin is going to go back up, if it's going to go back down, and if it's dead. Okay? So, anything below the 8%, which is 80, is pretty much going to be a very dead coin. So, if anything falls below the 80, that is when you need to start being like, you know what, that coin, I'm not getting into. So, how do you determine that? You're going to go here, click right here, click on price range, and then you just see when this coin is actually dipping. Okay? And if this coin goes from right here, right, from 160, and it dips anything below, as you guys see here, this is, if it dips here to 40%, which is would have been right here, 100, all right, that is going to be a sign for you. So let's move this up to 40. That's what 40 stands for. That's what 4 stands for, 40%. So if this coin did 40%, which is about 100K, let's say 100K, and this coin does a bounce back, that's an indicator that this coin is going to run up higher. Okay? If this coin goes down to the 60%, which is like around here, which is the 60K right here, the 60K range, that means that coin eventually will go down a little bit more. Okay? Because it has to get the 8 effect, which is the 80%, which is like around here. Okay? So as you see here, this coin fell down to 80%. If you understand the 468 effect, you will be able to trade perfectly. So as you see right here, this coin did not hit the 40 range. All right. Sometimes it'll be 30, but I like to keep 40 in my mind just because, you know, anything like within that 40 range is crucial. So right here, 40 range, it kept going down. This coin was about, you know, it was going to bottom out right here. So what I do here is like, I want to see if it goes any further than that. So if it goes all the way to 90, which is like around here, which is like around 12K, 15K, that means this coin is not going to bounce up and it just needs to basically get CTO'd. Now, as you see, this coin actually held the 80%, right? So it held the 80%. So that is an indicator to me that this coin is going to go back up. How high is this coin going to go back up? That is very hard to determine because that's going to depend on the team, but it's going to go back up. So you could theoretically put a little bit of, you know, like, I'm going to say like, so let's say we're talking about Sol, one Sol or 200, $300 or $100, $75, $50, $25, and be like, I'm just going to double that. I'm just going to double that. And the way you know that is because if this coin went here to the, you know, kind of like in that 30%, it just basically has to go up to 60%, which is right here, right? And you double your money and you can literally exit. So that is how you're going to be constantly doubling every single time because you're going to know when to buy and when to sell. And this kind of works in every single column, but it's more effective in the graduated column. And this is where you're going to be making the majority of your money because this is going to be a little bit more, I hate to use the word safe, but a little bit more reliable way to constantly be printing. This is going to be on the graduated. So you want to make sure you know that effect. And that pretty much works on this side too, on the new creations as well. If you guys go to the new creations or you go to this one right here, right, you're going to notice that that effect and that pattern repeats itself as well. So as you see here, once again, it ran up to 26, 12%. And we go here to the chart and we take a look right here, price range. It went from here, all right, and it went down here, 50%. As you see that 40%, it kept going down, right? And it can't go down to 80 because if it goes down to 80, right, that's almost like the coin never got made. So you can't make that same pattern here. But as you see here, it fell down before 40. So if it would have gone to 60, that is when you start like, okay, I'm going to buy there because it's going to go back up. But this one actually stayed here in that 40 range, 50 range there, bounce back up, and same pattern, just keeps repeating itself over and over. But we knew this was going to go up because it didn't fall below the 60, right? So if it didn't fall below the 60, we know the coin's going back up. And that's how you're able to identify it. Now, this is going to be a little bit more risky because you never know when the dev could dump, but you'll still be able to 2x. Because if you would have bought here at 13, you theoretically just got to go to 26. And as you see, guys, it hit 26 already. It hit 30, and it's going back at 26. So you would have 2x right there, whatever amount you put in. And that is basically, guys, how you're able to double your money every single day, and how you're able to make whatever amount you put in twice that amount every single day. You just got to make sure you're constantly checking the things they told you and using these tools to identify that. And the best tool to do that is Bullocks. Links are down below, whether you're playing on Sol or we're playing on Tron. All I want to say is I hope you guys print, and don't forget to join our call channel so you guys don't miss these amazing calls. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.